Yes, I am going to open up this extremely rare Duke Nukem figure from Captain Planet and his toy series. But first we got to talk about why this is rare and all the little things about this, because this is a pretty pricey figure to get a hold of. The box is marked 1992. The first group of Captain Planet figures, the packaging is marked 1991. And it did include Duke Nukem here, but as you can see, he's in this black outfit. So this is the one people are probably more familiar with from the Captain Planet line, if you are familiar with it. A glow-in-the-dark with this black costume. As we can see on the packaging of this rare one, it's much more accurate to the cartoon appearance with his colorful kind of Hawaiian shirt, like beach loungewear with swimming trunks. And just the coloring and stuff is more accurate to the show. I think this black one here, though, that is glow-in-the-dark, which is a cool feature, of course, so I'm definitely more nostalgic for this version because it's the one I had as a kid. But I think it did appear in maybe comic books at the time and video games. He appears with this black costume. I don't know if they were just kind of cheaping out, not doing the multicolored outfit like they did in the cartoon, or if this was just kind of his original design, that they were making things like games and comic books quicker than the TV show could be produced with the animation. But even here we can see him holding kind of a nuclear rod here, an accessory this rare one comes with. We can look at the package here. Mine is in Spanish. I have seen packages that are in Italian, and I have seen German. I assume there's an English one, because allegedly this is a Europe exclusive. I'm here in the United States. We never saw this figure at all, or I definitely would have wanted it. Never advertised on the back of any American packaging. There was international advertisements and things showing this, and also the very elusive Captain Pollution figure. So somehow in '92 they made these newer figures but only released them around Europe. But I would assume there was some for England that would be in English with the packaging. But we can translate the text, kind of look here at the top corner, just talking about the glowing feature of the figure. So it is electronic and light up. But if we look down at the accessory with the bar, it actually says "Hear the nuclear power and the sound." So it's actually a light and sound figure. Information about this is like super limited. Like there's no websites anymore that just like list facts. It's all stupid YouTube videos. Isn't that freaking annoying? So I'm trying to piece together the mystery here. I mean, again, a blurb that just says about the kind of glowing nuclear lights. So awesome with the old style packaging, because there was the New Adventures of Captain Planet, but it wasn't released for that, which was way later. Although I even have my card back from when I got Guy here, and it actually says 94 that they were still re-releasing the figures. So really they shouldn't be so rare. It's a lot of main line characters being released so many years later after the 91 release. It was also kind of marked down too, $3.77. Pretty good price. But we can look on the back of Duke Nukem here, kind of demonstrating his feature. He's got to hold the bar, and he takes freaking AAA whole batteries in his back. Usually it's the little like C round batteries that I have a little supply of for powering up old action figures here. And that makes it a lot easier to get batteries for it here. Then the little Captain Planet fact, of course, just talking about saving energy, turn off your TV and electronics when you're not using them. Advertising some later figures, like some recolors and stuff they started to do. So even just 1 year later, they about had the whole line made. They must have just kept re-releasing them. I have a lot of videos about a lot of these other figures here. You can check out the playlist. And then his little bio saying about how his kind of was doing an experiment, kind of went wrong, turned him all like into a nuclear monster, and he has to constantly feed on nuclear energy, which is why he's trying to turn the Earth into a nuclear wasteland so he can just always exist. That was his form of pollution, was the radioactive. One of the few super-powered villains on the show. Also interesting to note, initially Tiger Electronics releasing these figures. This one, 1992, released under the Kenner banner. That might have been who released it through Europe, possibly, or they end up taking over the line entirely. You'll have to go check out my New Adventures of Captain Planet figures. I forget if they had the Kenner logo or not. Lots of interesting tidbits there. Just funny that it's only 92. This is not like a super late release of this. So what I like to do here is open these things up so that we can show and see the feature, because I've not seen it shown anywhere what it really does. And I got one new in the packaging because a lot of times this kind of nuclear energy rod is missing as his accessory. And so I will rip this open. because that is what I bought it for. Yes, it is freed after all this time. So we can look at his sweet inanimate carbon rod for the nuclear power plant. Always have the energy rods here. Clear green plastic, a little blue plastic handle thing. I'm gonna guess with the feature you want this hole inside the hand so the light can go up and probably come out the bars. We'll see if that looks pretty cool. And the figure itself. Boy, I'm kind of nervous here. We got the arms coming up here. This one must have electronics in it for the light. Yep, there it is in the hand, because you can't articulate it too far one way or the other. So there's a little spot where the light's going to come out. So the other arm can go all the way around. This one's limited because there's probably a wire leading to that light. And then the head is set because his eyes are going to glow. Probably the mouth too, looks like clear plastic. So again, he's got his more realistic like yellow skin from the show and the Hawaiian shirt all colored in. So it looks awesome. Even his like swimming trunks have like kind of two separate designs on the side. I think usually he just has the stripe, but this one has like a double-sided one. I almost want to get like a pair of these made just to see if anybody would ever get the reference. A little bit of motion in the legs there, not a ton. And again, I don't really want to stress it because I just opened a incredibly expensive action figure here. So, but here's the huge panel on the back for the batteries. And the button. So I'm sure the batteries inside are dead, or maybe it didn't even come with any. We shall see. Nope, he does not have batteries included. Which is good for us because they would be all blown out and rotten and leaking hazardous materials that would make Captain Planet possibly pass out. He does actually have 91 marked on the body. The body's all new, because even the way the arms and stuff and the texture of the pants and shoulders here are not going to be like the original glow-in-the-dark figure. But the head, I believe, is the same sculpt reused. The only thing with this one that was almost completely accurate to the show, but actually the red mohawk is correct for the cartoon. Got it right on the glow-in-the-dark one with the weird costume, and they go green on this one. I don't know why. They were almost 100% cartoon accurate on this figure. Did green on the mohawk. I don't get it. Unless, the other question that I've never been able to answer is what color does he glow in the dark? So unless he glows green, and then that's why they did this. Maybe they were intending to do the clear plastic for the mohawk too, which would have been nice because it looks like it's a reddish clear material, so I think the light's going to look like that. Hard to say, but what we'll do is get some batteries in here, and we can finally see and hear his effect, because if you remember, it's actually a light and sound figure. So finally we can discover how this figure functions. Pretty exciting here. Let's give it a test here. Ooh, there we go. So it actually sounds like the Captain Planet ring toy I have a full video about as well. So there's a red glow, and we have that sound effect. Blinking lights, and then even the hand, which is pretty cool. The light goes there. Because in the show he would shoot, his energy beams out. So we have the bar kind of weapon. Again, there's a clear bit there, so I'm probably going to want to put that inside. So you get that where that opening part is inside. Although that part's not really supposed to glow. It's supposed to kind of have the light come up into the beam. Oh, it does light up quite a bit there. I mean, you can really see the whole head really light up. So I do appreciate that they just did one sound effect that's fitting instead of a bunch of weird changing lights. A bunch of changing sound effects. I always hated when toys would change the sound effect and then you wouldn't have the appropriate one that you wanted to go off. You'd have to cycle through them, so they just picked one good sound effect for his energy. I thought it was just going to be a light-up toy only, so I didn't know it was going to have the blinking, the sound. I think green might have been a cooler nuclear kind of looking color, but they should have did this mohawk in this clear plastic too, and then that would have glowed, and it would have been red on the outside, much more fitting for the character. So again, I am more nostalgic with my collection for the glow-in-the-dark one, but you can't really deny that this just looks like a much better figure. Still has light-up effect, possibly better than just the glow effect here, since you can kind of hit the button anytime. But again, much more show accurate as well. So I'll probably want to keep this one in the forefront of the collection, especially since it is a rare, nicer collectible now, after the fact. Not the one I got to play with as a kid. I always played around with this one, playing with the whole toy line of Captain Planet. But as soon as I discovered the existence of this one, I always wanted it, and I've just been hunting and hunting, trying to get a hold of one without spending, you know, a ridiculous amount. Because not particularly wealthy at all here hunting these things. So always looking for a good deal to get figures that I just always wanted after all this time. That's what I like to do here. Plenty of other 90s action figures I check out here. You want to probably just go down and see my channel name and the icon and hit that, and it'll go right to my channel, and you can see, especially if you go to the playlist section, all the other action figures and stuff I open up. I show off my old collection stuff that I actually had as a kid, and then when I get newer things to complete the collection, I like to open it up right here so you can see. Finally showing the features of this Duke Nukem action figure. If that's not worth a subscribe, then I don't know what is.